We've all been there, right? From tiny disagreements with friends to major blow-ups. Conflict. It's part of life. But what if I told you that navigating it is actually a skill, something you can get really good at? Today, we're going to dive into how to do just that and why it might be one of the most important skills you ever learn.
Just think about that for a second. It's a powerful question. Could one single argument really have enough power to wreck a whole community? Or, on the flip side, could that exact same argument be the very thing that makes it stronger? That's the big idea we're exploring today.
And this is the key to the whole thing. The metaphor we're going to use is that conflict is like a fire. You know, the biggest, most destructive forest fire doesn't start as some giant explosion. Nope. It starts with something small, something you might not even notice, a single tiny spark. What happens next? Well, that's what really matters. Okay, so let's start right there with that single spark. Before we can figure out how to put out the fire, we've got to understand what conflict actually is in the first place.
Look at how simple this definition is. We disagree with people all the time, but that's not automatically a conflict. The word that changes everything here is peacefully. It only tips over into real conflict when we just don't know how to handle that disagreement without things getting ugly. It's really a communication breakdown, isn't it?
But here's the thing. Conflict isn't always what you think it is. Just like a fire, it can show up in a couple of really different ways. You've got your big, visible, roaring flames, and then you've got your silent, smoldering embers.
So most of us, when we hear the word conflict, we picture the stuff on the left, the violent stuff, the shouting, the fighting, all that obvious drama. But what our source material points out is absolutely crucial. That nonviolent conflict can be just as destructive. Think about it. Giving someone the silent treatment, spreading gossip. These are those hidden embers, quietly burning away at trust and relationships. And look, this isn't just about arguments between two people. These same dynamics play out on a massive scale. For example, in a country like Nigeria, you can have inter-ethnic conflicts, which means between different groups, and intra-ethnic conflicts, which happen inside the same group. It's the exact same principle of misunderstanding, but the stakes are just so much higher.
So, what's feeding these fires? And what kind of damage do they leave behind when they burn out of control? Let's take a look at the fuel that causes conflict and the fallout it leaves in its wake.
So think of these things as the gasoline poured on that initial spark. A simple misunderstanding can escalate like crazy when you add fuel like poverty, jealousy, or a deep sense of injustice. Each one of these turns a small problem into something much, much bigger.
And the cost. Man, the cost is just devastating. We're not talking about just hurt feelings here. We are talking about friendships completely shattered, homes lost, and in the worst cases, lives lost. It creates this lingering fear and mistrust that can poison an entire community for generations to come.
Okay, but this isn't all doom and gloom, not at all. Now we get to the most important part. How do we actually put out the fire? How do we go from conflict to resolution? Well, it all starts with building a place for peace.
This quote right here, this is the blueprint. It's not about one person winning the argument. Real, lasting resolution is built on three things: talking it out calmly, genuinely trying to understand the other side, and a commitment to being fair.
And really, it boils down to two simple but incredibly powerful actions. First, just make the choice to talk, not to shout. Second, make a real, honest effort to see it from their side. Now, I know these sound easy, but doing that in the heat of the moment, that's a total game changer.
This image is from a fantastic story. Two guys, Jude and Hassan, were in a big argument. But instead of fighting, they took an old plank of wood and they literally built a peace table to sit down and solve their problem. It became this physical symbol of their choice to talk. It shows that resolution isn't just about ending a fight, it's about actively building something new together. And that really brings us to the final big takeaway. Peace isn't some destination you just arrive at. It's more like a bridge that you have to build, one step at a time. And every single plank in that bridge is an act of listening, a moment of patience, or a spark of empathy. It's an active, ongoing process.
So, I'll leave you with this final thought. The next time you find yourself in a disagreement, and trust me, there will be a next time, remember that initial spark. You have a choice. Are you going to let it grow into a fire that burns everything down? Or are you going to use it as the starting point to build a bridge? What will you build?